On March 19, 2025, a deafening roar tore through Kursk forest as Ukrainian HIMARS rockets struck with deadly precision. Their target? 3,000 North Korean troops, freshly deployed to aid Russia's faltering war machine. In mere seconds, their artillery vanished, silenced before it could even fire. This bold strike hit when Moscow, desperate, turned to Pyongyang to shore up its eastern front. Kyiv's move was more than an attack. It was a warning. No alliance is beyond reach. What led to this? On March 19, 2025, a deafening roar tore through Kursk forest as Ukrainian HIMARS rockets struck with deadly precision. Their target? 3,000 North Korean troops, freshly deployed to aid Russia's faltering war machine. In mere seconds, their artillery vanished, silenced before it could even fire. This bold strike hit when Moscow, desperate, turned to Pyongyang to shore up its eastern front. Kyiv's move was more than an attack. It was a warning. No alliance is beyond reach. What led to this moment reveals a shifting tide in the Russia-Ukraine war. The story behind it promises even greater surprises. Let's explore with Navy secrets. In modern warfare, victory often hinges on who sees the enemy first. On March 19, 2025, Ukraine proved this principle in the dense Kursk forest, where North Korean artillery lay hidden, poised to strike. Ukraine's weapon of choice was not a missile or a tank, but a small, silent drone, the Laika 100. This uncrewed aerial vehicle, or UAV, turned the forest cover into a liability, exposing 3 Koksan M1978 guns and setting the stage for a devastating attack. The Laika 100 is a marvel of simplicity and power. Its electric motors hum quietly, letting it glide over the treetops without drawing attention. Equipped with thermal and optical sensors, it can spot heat from engines or bodies and pick out shapes through thick foliage. On that day, it flew low over Kursk forest, scanning for signs of trouble. It didn't take long to find them. Beneath the canopy, 3 Koksan M1978 guns stood in a rough triangle, their 170mm barrels a serious threat to Ukrainian positions far behind the front lines. 15 North Korean soldiers scurried around them, hauling shells from nearby trucks to load into the guns. The drone's live feed beamed every detail to Ukrainian command, revealing an enemy on the brink of action. What made this discovery critical wasn't just the gun's location, but also what the drone didn't see: defenses. No radar swept the skies. No anti-aircraft guns stood guard. The North Koreans had bet on the forest's natural shield, a gamble that failed against modern technology. The Laika 100 lingered, unnoticed, its encrypted data painting a clear picture. The guns were exposed, the crews were busy, and time was short. Ukraine now held the upper hand, knowing exactly where and how to strike. This intelligence was gold. Ukrainian commanders saw a rare chance to hit hard and fast. The drone showed the gun's layout, letting planners map every move. They could first target the ammunition trucks, sparking explosions to wipe out the crews and weapons. Or they could aim straight for the guns, stopping them before a single shell fired. With no air defenses to worry about, the strike would face little resistance. This level of detail turned a risky operation into a calculated win, all without putting a single Ukrainian soldier in danger. Beyond tactics, the drone's success carried deeper meaning. For the North Korean troops, an attack out of nowhere would shatter their confidence. They'd thought the forest kept them safe, but Ukraine's eyes in the sky proved otherwise. That shock ripples upward. Russia, desperate for allies, had leaned on North Korea to bolster its flagging war machine. The Koksan guns were part of that lifeline, meant to stretch Ukraine's defenses thin. Knocking them out so fast showed that Russia's partners were no match for Ukraine's ingenuity. It's a blow to morale and a warning. No new gear or troops can shift the tide, if Ukraine can find and destroy them first. The Leica 100 itself tells a bigger story. Cheap and compact, it costs far less than a fighter jet or helicopter. It risks no lives, yet delivers results that rival traditional reconnaissance. This fits Ukraine's playbook. Making the most of limited, it didn't fire a shot, but made the difference between a blind volley and a knockout punch. As it slipped away, its job done, Ukrainian forces readied their next move. The HIMARS rocket systems waiting in the wings would soon turn that intelligence into action. In the next section, we'll explore how these precision weapons sealed the fate of the North Korean guns, showing how Ukraine blends brains and brawn to keep its edge. In today's wars, a single weapon can change everything. For Ukraine, that weapon is the HIMARS counts. HIMARS keeps Ukraine safe and in control. The M30A1 rocket is the heart of this system. Each holds 182,000 tiny tungsten pieces packed tight in a special warhead. When it bursts above the ground, these fragments scatter widely, covering an area up to 100 meters across. Tungsten is heavy and complex, so the pieces slice through anything soft, like troops or trucks. For North Korea, it's a sign their weapons can't stand up to Ukraine's tricks. This strike shows why HIMARS matters. It's not just a launcher, it's a way to hit where it hurts most, fast and cheap. In Kursk, 3 rockets rewrote the fight in under 2 minutes. Russia and its allies felt the burn, while Ukraine stood taller. But this wasn't a lone win. It's part of a bigger plan that's shifting the tide of the war. Next, we'll dig into how this fits in. HIMARS avoids that risk. Ukrainian crews can strike, hide, and strike again from somewhere else. This keeps them safe and lets them take on more targets without fear. In Kursk, attack forced Moscow to rethink. Bringing in heavy artillery takes effort, and seeing it gone so fast hurts both supplies and morale. Russia might now add more defenses or pick safer spots, but that spreads their forces thin. Ukraine proved it could stop this support before it even got started. The attack also spoke to North Korea. Their artillery didn't last a day in combat. If Ukraine keeps this up, it shows that a smaller force can win with the right tools and plans. The M30A1, HIMARS, and drone combo isn't just tech, it's a strategy that's hard to beat. But this wasn't a one-off. North Korean artillery has been lost before, and the pattern matters. The following section will dig into why these defeats keep happening and what they mean for the thousands of North Korean soldiers now tied up in Russia's war. In less than 2 weeks, Ukraine turned North Korean artillery into wreck. For Kursk, Ukraine hit similar guns in Luhansk, using drones, and in Donetsk with swift ground scouts. Each time, the outcome was identical. The heavy artillery, meant to pound Ukrainian lines, was destroyed before firing a shot. These repeated losses are not random. They point to a consistent weakness in how North Korea's weapons are used and protected. This is a chance to exploit a predictable vulnerability for Ukraine, showing that even new allies cannot shift the battlefield in Russia's favor. Drones watch every move and guided rockets strike with pinpoint accuracy. Their size makes hiding difficult, and their slow movement limits escape. In Kursk, Ukraine's Leica 100 drones spotted them easily, and HIMARS rockets ended them swiftly. This clash of old technology against new shows why the Coxons keep falling. They belong to a past era, not today's fast, tech-driven fight. These losses hurt Russia and North Korea in lasting ways. For Moscow, the destruction of Allied equipment questions the wisdom of relying on Pyongyang's aid. Moving heavy guns across borders takes time, money, and effort. Losing them so fast wastes those resources and dents Russia's ability to hold the Eastern Front. It also signals to Russian troops and citizens that foreign help may not deliver the needed edge. If every new gun meets the same fate, the cost of this partnership grows harder to justify. For North Korea, the stakes are high. Each Koksan lost is a blow to their military prestige and budget. These guns are not cheap to build or ship, and their destruction in days undermines Pyongyang's image as a capable ally. Leaders may hesitate to send more if the risk of embarrassment outweighs the gain. North Korean soldiers, already far from home, face a grim reality. Their tools cannot match Ukraine's tactics. This could shake their confidence, making them less effective in the field. Unity. By hitting North Korea's artillery again and again, they've exposed a flawed strategy. The conclusion will explore what this means for the war's future and whether North Korea's deeper involvement can shift the tide or add to the losses. The March 19, 2025, strike in Kursk Forest marks a pivotal moment in the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine's HIMARS attack obliterated North Korea's Koksan M1978 artillery, showcasing superior technology and tactics. With the Laika 100 drone guiding precise M30A1 rockets, Ukraine turned a hidden enemy into a sitting target, wiping out guns, trucks, and crews in just 90 seconds. This victory, built on real-time intelligence and swift mobility, proves that precision can trump numbers. It also highlights how Ukraine leverages Western aid to outsmart a larger foe, making the war a proof. Destroyed battery weakens the enemy's reach, protects vital supply lines, and boosts morale. It sends a clear message. No new ally or weapon can easily shift the battlefield when Ukraine's systems work so well together. Russia and North Korea will likely try to adapt. Moscow might push for better radar or scatter artillery to avoid mass losses. Pyongyang, stung by repeated failures, could rethink sending more guns or demand stronger protection. Yet, a bigger question looms over the war's future. With 15,000 North Korean soldiers in Russia, their role was meant to tip the scales. But if their equipment keeps crumbling under Ukraine's strikes, can they make a difference? Persistent losses could sour up Ukraine's strength, turning limited tools into big wins. It warns Russia that foreign aid won't come cheap and shows North Korea the risks of joining a losing fight. As the conflict continues, Kursk is a marker of Ukraine's grit and a challenge to its foes. Will North Korea's deeper involvement reshape the war, or will it pile on losses for an already strained alliance? The answer will shape the